up, guys? Welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a fidget spinner out of wood. All you're going to need is a fidget spinner to use as like a model and something to trace. So let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing you're going to want to do is pop out the little tabs on your fidget spinner. So I'm just going to use a pocket knife and do that. And they might go flying. Alright, let's go get the other one. Guys, got both of our tabs. Set these aside so you don't lose them. Next, we have to get that center bearing out. So use a hammer, or you can most of the time just use your thumb and push it out. Either way, you need to get that bearing out. Alright, got our fidget spinner in a couple different pieces. Set these aside and make sure you don't lose any of the pieces. Okay, guys, so the next step is to find the wood that you're going to use. So I am probably going to go with walnut. So what I'm going to do is, this is rough sawn walnut, which means it's pretty rough. So I'm going to run it through the planer and also make it thinner. So let's use our walnut. Guys, so pretty much all this machine does is makes wood thinner. You can adjust the height of the blades with this knob here. It rises and lowers the blades, and so you run your board through and it comes out smooth and to whatever height you want. Takes a couple different passes, but you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Guys, I'm definitely not done planing yet, but I just wanted to share a little tip. To know how thick you want it, you can use your bearing, and right next to it, you need your wood to be about as thick as the bearing, a little thicker. If you do not have a planer, planers are extremely expensive, even the used ones. So if you don't have a planer, just go to the store and buy wood that's about 1/4 inch thick, which is how thick that bearing is. So buy some 1/4 inch wood, and then you'll be able to make it from that. But the planer allows you to use whatever wood you want, and as you can see, this walnut looks very nice. Alright guys, I got our wood about the same thickness as our bearing, just a bit thicker for sanding and other stuff. But now what we can do is we can go on to the next step, which is tracing our fidget spinner onto our wood. You want to find a good spot on your wood. You don't want it to be close to the edge, and you also don't want it to be on like weird areas like that. You want it to be good right where the grain goes smooth. You want to set it right there, and then you want to draw around it very, very accurately. The more accurate you can get your trace, the better it's going to spin later on. So you just trace. Oh crap, I moved it. Make sure you don't move it like me. So just do it real good, and I recommend using a nice new Sharpie so that way it's still pointing. And also guys, remember to trace around the inside circle of the fidget spinner. Trace around that good, and then I like to kind of scribble it out on the inside so that way I know I need to get rid of that. So now we gotta go get some drill bits, and we gotta go plug in the saw. We have our fidget spinner traced out, we have our center hole traced out. The next step is to drill out that hole in the center, because if we wait until we cut it out, it's gonna be very, very thin right there, and it could chip the wood. And I've done this before, and it does chip the wood, so we need to go ahead and drill that hole right now. Alright, so guys, I'm gonna use a thing called a punch, and I'm going to make a little punch right in the very center of our hole. So that way, when we go to drill our hole, our bit won't be sliding around, it'll kind of stay in that hole. I'll show you what that looks like. It creates, focus, come on, yeah. It creates that little divot that our drill bit can like kind of sit in so it doesn't slide around. We have identified that our bearing is 7/8 of an inch, so I got a 7/8 of an inch Forstner bit that I'm going to use to drill down through the middle. Okay, let's get drilling. Make sure to make your hole straight down, or your bearing isn't going to sit in there right. I'm through. Looks pretty straight to me. Hey guys, just as a recap, we have our traced out fidget spinner here. We have our hole for our bearing in the middle. So now let's get our bearing and see if it's gonna fit in our hole. That's perfect. It's a little loose because I didn't have a smaller bit, but a little bit of epoxy will fix that. So let's get our bearing out of there and let's go cut out the fidget spinner shape. Guys, this saw is called a band saw and it is used for cutting curves. Fun fact about this saw, I cut my thumb 3/4 of the way off last year with this saw, so let's hope that doesn't happen today. I'm gonna speed up this process because it might take a little bit, so let's get started. Guys, I filmed it in high speed, but it was upside down for some reason, so no high speed for that. But we do have our fidget spinner and it's pretty good cut out. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna sand it and then we're gonna insert our bearing. Alright guys, now we have a beautifully sanded walnut fidget spinner. It looks very symmetrical. So now the next step is to put our bearing in. So just like the last video, we need to mix up some 5-minute epoxy. Alright, that should be enough. Alright, that, let's mix it up. You know what I might do? I might even wait for this epoxy to kind of like harden up a little bit before I put it in the actual fidget spinner, because I want it to hold in there as soon as I put it in. I don't want to be holding it, but we will see. I don't know. Alright guys, so I got my bearing in my fidget spinner and it's just being held up with my little tiny little pinhole device. So I'm just going to wait for that epoxy to dry. And then we're gonna sand all the little pieces of epoxy that kind of got on there. And then we are gonna be using, just like we used for our little fidget device, Helmsman's spar urethane with exceptional protection from sunlight, rain and moisture, and temperature changes. As for the last 20 minutes, I have been liking my own YouTube videos, so our glue is dry. Now what we need to do is do a little bit of sanding, get all that glue off of there, and then we can add our coat of finish, and then we can put on our caps. And I'm not going to tell you how it spins yet. You'll find out at the end of the video. Oh, that looks good. Alright, let's go on to the next step. So I covered up the little plastic thing with a little piece of tape. I don't want that to get sprayed. It's okay if a little bit gets on there, but I don't want it to be covered. So let's just give it a coat. Yeah, and then you can now is where you can really see the walnut bring out its color. Oh, I hope you guys can see this. Then will it stand upright? No, so it's okay. Alright, I'll come back in a couple minutes when it's completely dry. Guys, our fidget spinner is done drying and it spins really well. It's a bit wobbly, but I mean, for wood, that's pretty good. It's a bit sticky, but still, whatever. It spins fairly well. I really like it. I think if you want to take it one step further, when you drilled out that middle hole, I think you should have drilled out some holes out here and then also put the bearings from the other fidget spinner in there. That would have given it some weight, so it would have spun about twice as long. But as it is, it's really good. So be sure to like this video, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you next time.